Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Tuesday evening, February 4, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you guys utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the that's been like in your year recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific year. Alright, so we're going to be looking at the US Climate Prediction Center's Global Tropics Hazards Outlook. As usual, we're going to be looking at the next 3 weeks in general. So starting with the time period from February 12 to February 18, as well as the time period from February 19 to February 25. We're going to be focusing our attention right here across the Atlantic. We can clearly see that there's a mixture of yellows, browns, and greens for the time period from February 12 to February 18 that we can see from the key on the bottom. That represents all of what we see here. Yellows represents above normal temperatures. That should be across the southeastern US. We can also see some browns right here. That should be stretching from the Bahamas all the way over into the northern portion of North Atlantic. And we see an abundance of greens, especially the 80% chance across sections of the eastern to the southern Caribbean into portion of northern South America. Don't see Jamaica getting in on much of that at all, but definitely the Caribbean gonna be getting in on an increase in rainfall and above normal rainfall if this actually verifies. Even the time period from February 19 to February 25 is showing something similar but less robust than what February 12 to February 18 is expected to bring. Either way, we know that what the US Climate Prediction Center usually shows for the next couple of weeks is not set in stone, so we have to take these forecasts with a grain of salt just in case these forecasts change or don't actually verify. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us according to the latest Euro model and the latest GFS supercomputer models. So keep your eyes focused on the timestamp right here as we go to the next 168 hours. That stands for the next 7 days. As we focus our attention right here across Jamaica and look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens that represents inches of rainfall. So let's see what's going to be taking place. So we can see that as we head into Wednesday, northeastern parishes once again getting in on most of the rainfall, central and western parishes during the afternoon. Thursday, something similar. If we also take a look at Friday, we also see some amount of rainfall for portions of eastern Jamaica, spilling into sections of some central and western parishes during Friday afternoon. Saturday, we also see some morning rainfall across northern parishes, spilling into sections of some central and western parishes during the afternoon on Saturday. Very interesting forecast. The pattern seems to be stuck with some amount of isolated shower activity for the most part. Then as we head into Monday, we see some morning rainfall across northern parishes, southern parishes during the afternoon, and we're going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Tuesday, February 11, and we can see some moisture to the southeast of Jamaica. You can also see an abundance of moisture across the eastern to the central and southern portion of the US as well. Let us match the latest Euro to the latest GFS. Let's see what's going to be taking place over the next 7 days. So just like what the Euro was showing, some amount of morning rainfall on a Wednesday across northeastern parishes. The GFS not showing much during the afternoon on Wednesday though. Thursday morning, we do see the isolated showers on the north coast in the morning. Maybe some isolated activity on the south coast during the afternoon. Friday, well, we saw some morning rainfall for sure across the northeast. Then during the afternoon, sections of some southwestern parishes. And then Saturday morning, some northeastern parishes getting in some isolated showers, so too section of some central and western parishes getting in the action. Sunday, definitely central and western parishes during the afternoon. Monday, northeastern parishes during the morning, central and western parishes during the afternoon once again. And we're going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid also for Tuesday, February 11th. And we can clearly see that what the Euro was showing for the moisture to the southeast of the island, not really being shown right here on the GFS, but we can definitely see that rainfall across sections of the central to the eastern US for sure. That's where most of the moisture is expected to be by the end of the next 7 days. And if we take a look at the accumulated precipitation forecast for the next 7 days, both maps here from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall expected from now up until Tuesday, February 11. And we don't have much change at all. Clearly we see that the most rainfall over the next 7 days should be plaguing these areas shaded in the reds into burgundies, that represents 1 to 2 inches of rainfall, purples into the pinks, that's 3 to 5 inches of rainfall. Clearly these areas include sections of eastern Cuba, sections of eastern Hispaniola, Dominican Republic, especially the northeastern portions, eastern Puerto Rico into the US and British Virgin Islands, anywhere from Guadeloupe southward, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, spilling all the way down to Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, eastern Venezuela, southern Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana, sections of Colombia into Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, eastern Honduras, the Yucatan Peninsula and Belize. These are the areas that are going to be picking up the most in the way for rainfall over the next 7 days. And it's not only the GFS that is showing this, but even the Euro model right here showing something similar. And we definitely know that these areas that are going to be picking up all of those dark reds into purples represents 2 all the way up into the 3 inches or more of rainfall, could definitely experience some amount of isolated flash flooding. So we just hope and trust that the people who reside in those areas are taking necessary precautions so that they're not that drastically affected by what's to come. But if we switch gears and focus on Jamaica, close-up accumulated precipitation forecast, clearly northeastern parishes are going to be picking up the brunt of the rainfall, even although the Euro has been more robust than the GFS for the past month. We see all the way up to 69 millimeters of rainfall in the oranges right here across Portland. That's what the Euro is predicting. We also see some yellows into greens, touching all the way across into portions of St. Thomas, St. Mary, St. Anne. The GFS showing something similar, especially across the northeast, but a bit less, all the way down to 29 millimeters of rainfall. Either way, whatever happens, I'll keep you posted on our other social media platforms. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we have a ridge of high pressure right here to the east of Florida, another ridge of high pressure right here to the north of the Cabo Verde Islands, and we can see some broken orange lines right here associated with some troughs across the northern portion of North Atlantic. I don't know, these ridges of high pressure are responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can make out all of these entities. The clouds pushing from east to west, all courtesy of the easterly flow of winds brought about by ridges of high pressure to the north. And we can actually make out the troughs right here. We can definitely make out some clouds, definitely troughing taking place in some of these areas for sure. Definitely explains why there's so much moisture in the air. Even although there's a lot of dry air, there's still an abundance of moisture across the basin. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Tuesday, February 4, 2025. It was stated in yesterday's video that we would have received some morning rainfall across sections of some northern and eastern parishes, and that some of this activity would have affected sections of some southern and western parishes during the afternoon. And just for reference, we know northern parishes, we're talking about Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. While southern parishes, we're talking about Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. While eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew. Western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, and Trelawney. And what ended up happening As early as 3:45 a.m., the infrared close-up satellite imagery was posted not only here on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica, but they were also posted on our Instagram page at weather.jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as you make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we can definitely make out the clouds bringing some isolated showers to not only section of northern Jamaica, but some of this definitely came into portion of Portland, St. Thomas, spilled into section of Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Clarendon. Definitely gotten on some amount of isolated shower activity early this morning. Then during the afternoon, well, not really the afternoon, but around 11:15 a.m., we saw that we're still getting on some amount of activity. This one here was posted not only on our Twitter page but on our Instagram page, definitely highlighting some clouds, bring some overcast skies, if not some isolated showers, section of northern Jamaica, and some clouds definitely coming in from the east, affecting section of eastern Jamaica, as well as section of some southern Jamaica. So it's definitely eastern and central parishes that we're getting in on the brunt of the cloud cover, if not some amount of isolated showers. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, we can make out what was taking place. Not much in the way of cloud cover or rainfall, but we can definitely make out the clouds bringing some maybe partly cloudy skies at most to northern Jamaica, maybe partly cloudy skies across southwestern parishes as well. Not much in the way of dense cloud cover or rainfall at all. And the infrared close-up satellite imagery confirms this. We can also make out the high cirrus cloud being streaked off towards the east-northeast as well. And we have from See Jamaica's YouTube channel the crossroads cam at around 11:32 a.m. highlighting the rainfall that we were receiving at that time. And we can definitely see it coming in here from the east or from the right. Definitely got some decent rainfall to soak the place. We can see people in their vehicles with their windshield wipers on, people walking along with their umbrellas as well. And I'm sure many persons were grateful for the late morning rainfall to cool the temperatures down for sure. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams for your viewing pleasure, and they're planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have in and around the island. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out. And we definitely have some confirmation here from some of our followers on our social media platforms. Two here on our YouTube platform from our subscribers. Giovanni Panta 5355 stating Spanish Town rain 14 hours ago, as well as Warren Barton 5374 stating we had rain in Portmore this morning too. Thanks for confirming. Even on our Instagram page, we had comma.raw155 stating Portmore is so overcast right now at that time as well. Thank you for confirming as well. Taking a look at what's happening right now, we can see that the latest still image from the Weather News website is not showing much of anything. Most of these clouds that we see off to our west are some high cirrus clouds. We can also make out some clouds right here off the east of the island. But are there any rain showers within all of that? Let us match that to the latest Cuban Doppler radar imagery. And we're grateful that the latest Cuban Doppler radar is actually showing, well, we're seeing a mixture of February 3 to February 4. I guess it's kind of glitching out in a sense, boy. I don't know. These Doppler radars keep glitching out, but it's really not up to date at all. This is showing 6:10 p.m. and the time is what, 7:01 p.m. right now. Either way, the Guantanamo Bay Cuban naval radar imagery not showing much of anything across eastern Cuba, western Haiti, or northeastern Jamaica. Even the Cayman radar not showing much of anything across southern Cuba, western Jamaica, or the Cayman Islands. Just some isolated shores right here to the southwest of the Cayman Islands. And we have the live camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel showing halfway through right now. We can definitely make out what's taking place. People in their vehicles going about their business, people walking about going about their business. Nothing in the way of bad weather taking place as we speak. And that should definitely be the order of the evening, but that could change in the early morning hours when that moist northeasterly flow brings some rainfall to section of some northeastern parishes once again, and who knows, maybe some of that might spill into section of some southern or central and western parishes once again, bring some early morning rainfall to those areas. If we take a look at the temperatures right now, we can see we have 25 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. And by about 4 a.m. on Wednesday, temperature should dip down to about 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 23 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Wednesday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Wednesday. And we can see Jamaica right here, embedded in some gray colors for the most part. Although the gray colors represents average temperatures, that's what we want to see. Average temperatures, and we know the average temperature for the month of February across Jamaica is around 86.4 degrees Fahrenheit, and when that's converted to degrees Celsius, that's about 30 degrees Celsius. So it should be receiving 30 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Wednesday. And if that's a bit too hot for you, unfortunately, it's going to be exacerbated even more in these areas that are going to be experiencing some maintenance outage advisories. And we know the maintenance outage advisories can make the heat even worse because we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. And all of these that I'm about to show you are valid for Wednesday, February 5. We're referring to Blackwood Gardens and Begonia, as well as Thompson Pen in St. Catherine from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. We're also referring to Kemps Hill in Clarendon from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Cold Spring in Westmoreland from 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Bogue Hill Drive, Julie Crescent in St. James from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Farmtown, Betheltown, Islington in St. Anne, 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and Moorfield to Wakefield in Trelawney from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, let them know that a power outage is coming their way. Either way, we have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. It states here, dress down, wear lightweight clothing and use sunscreen. Check on others, including children, elderly people with medical conditions, and pets. Be cool, stay indoors and make use of fans and air conditioners. Avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can make dehydration worse. Limit non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day. And I cannot stress enough the importance of staying hydrated. Drink lots of water throughout the day, even if you're not thirsty. Put away those sugar drinks, drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we know that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. We're referring to the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and the whites within those reds. And we can clearly see that the entire Atlantic basin is embedded in a lot of dry air, especially right here off the coast of Africa, where we have those reds and whites within those reds. But we do see a mixture of blues into some slight yellows right here across the entire Atlantic. That could spell some isolated shower activity in some spots. That's what we want. We definitely want some isolated rainfall in this dry period. But in terms of the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Wednesday, we can clearly see that North America, the Bahamas, much of the Caribbean, Northern South America, and Central America should be in the clear because all of the browns represent the Saharan dust should be across a portion of the main development region. And we're indeed grateful that it's not that vigorous of a plume. We know that the vigorous plume of Saharan dust is represented by the dark shades of browns, and we're not seeing any of that. And we don't want that at all, because we know the dark shades of browns mean very hazy skies, not to mention bringing some amount of respiratory illnesses to some persons. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, not much change in terms of the wave heights. Clearly, the highest waves right here in and around Jamaica, especially to our south. We have these purples into the pinks and the burgundies that represents anywhere from 2 all the way up to maybe 4 meter wave heights. The water is to the east and to the north of the eastern Caribbean. That's where the purples are, 2 meter wave heights for sure. The northwestern Caribbean blues, especially the Gulf of Mexico light shades of blues, represents anywhere from 0.5 meter wave height all the way up to 1.5 meter wave heights. We can clearly see to the north coast of Jamaica tomorrow, 1.5 meter wave heights 2.1 meter wave heights expected. The south coast, 1.9 meter wave heights expected. And that's because of the winds that are expected. You can clearly see why the waves are so high, especially to the south of Jamaica. Look at these bright greens into yellows that represent anywhere from 20 all the way up to 25, maybe even gusting to 30 knots from the northeast or from the east-northeast. Eastern Caribbean averaging 10 to 15 knots at most. So too the northwestern Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico, definitely even lower than that, maybe even 5 knots, which explains why the waves are so basically low over there. But regarding Jamaica, clearly we see tomorrow on the north coast up to 19 knots from the east, maybe from the east northeast, 18 knots on the south coast from the east. And Who knows, we might definitely get into some more isolated shore activity. Look at the flow coming in from the windward passage between Haiti and Cuba. Could definitely bring some more relief rainfall to these areas. We know the drill: Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne for sure. And who knows, maybe we might just get in on some isolated afternoon rainfall wherever the air is piling up, even although it's not really so robust in terms of what is being shown on both the models for the afternoon. But we definitely have confidence that the morning rainfall should definitely take place for northeastern parishes, and we know some of this might definitely spill into other areas. And with the upper level winds coming in from the southwest, it could definitely favor more of the activity on the north coast for sure. Taking a look at the actual rainfall forecast maps now. Both maps here from the Euro and the GFS are valid for 3 a.m. on Wednesday early in the morning. So way before many of us wake up, we see the blues represent rainfall for St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. And given the northeasterly flow or the east northeasterly flow, some of this could definitely spill into sections of St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine. We'll see exactly what unfolds at that time. Skipping ahead now to about 7 a.m., we still see much of the same. The blues represent rainfall across St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, some of which could be spilling into sections of St. Andrew, St. Thomas for sure. Then by afternoon now, this is where we see the contrast. This is where we see the differences. We can clearly see the blues represent rainfall across northern parishes, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, as well as maybe southern or southwestern parishes, maybe section of Clarendon, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland. Mind you, this is valid for 3 p.m. on the Euro. Look at what the GFS is showing. This is why we say differences. The GFS is not showing much of anything during the afternoon. And we're seeing some light shades of blues right here across St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. Not seeing much of anything in terms of consensus for the afternoon. So in terms of the confidence for the forecast for tomorrow, it's definitely for some amount of morning rainfall across sections of some northern and the eastern parishes for sure, some of which could spill into sections of some southern parishes. We definitely have the accumulated precipitation forecast maps here from the Euro and the GFS confirming this. Both maps here showing all the rainfall expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Wednesday, and we can clearly see that the Euro is a bit more robust, going all the way up to 0.46 of an inch of rainfall, even more than that in the red, especially off the eastern end of the island. GFS is not so robust, just going all the way up to 0.24 of an inch of rainfall. Either way, whatever happens, I'll keep you posted on our other social media platform, and whatever happens, we'll definitely take it. We're in the month of February, and it's one of our drier months for sure. In Kingston, this bar graph is being shown right here at the top. We usually receive up to at least, this is what, 19 millimeters of rainfall. That's close to 1 inch of rainfall, which is actually 25 millimeters of rainfall. In Montego Bay, this bar graph is being shown right here at the bottom. We usually receive up to at least what, let's say 2.8, 2.9 inches of rainfall. That's about maybe 74 millimeters of rainfall. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives for the month of February or for the entire year in terms of rainfall, you can visit weatherandclimate.com and that website to show you that information. And you can use this nice little graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters. You know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall, so you can do the math yourself. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. Alright, so as stated, we have some low-level clouds passing through, especially across Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, some rainfall pushing into portion of Belize, Guatemala, Honduras for sure. And if we take a look at what's happening across the northeastern Caribbean, let's just reload these images that we have the latest. We're going to be looking first at the Barbados radar. Not seeing much happening across Barbados right now, but we do see the isolated rainfall activity passing to the north, pushing to the west. Definitely pushing into portions of St. Lucia, Martinique for sure, getting into some of the action. Not seeing much activity across Guadeloupe or Dominica or Grenada right now, but maybe some isolated sprinkles across sections of Trinidad and Tobago as we speak. Let's see what's happening on the northeastern Caribbean Doppler radar. So we do see some isolated shores to the east of Guadeloupe and Dominica right here. We can also see some rainfall across sections of eastern and northern Puerto Rico, the waters to the southwest of there, so to the British Virgin Islands. And if we load these images from earlier today, we can see that the US Virgin Islands, St. Kitts, and Antigua and Barbuda were definitely getting on some of the action too. But regarding where most of the rainfall is expected, or where it's expected right now, you can clearly see the weather via Doppler radar imagery showing most of the rainfall passing to the north of the ABC Islands. You can also see some amount of rainfall right here affecting sections of the Yucatan, sections of Belize, heading into portion of northern Guatemala. And regarding where most of the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both maps here from the year and the GFS are showing that the most rainfall from now up until 10 p.m. on Wednesday should be plaguing Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana, sections of southern Venezuela, western Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, Belize, Guatemala, northeastern Jamaica, eastern Cuba, sections of northern Haiti, sections of northeastern Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique. And we clearly see that both the year and the GFS models are in consensus with this forecast. I know that when they're in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.